Jules, we not done because we got more quick hits.
Yes.
Manchester United play more than 45 minutes with 10 men, but still come back to beat Ipswich 3-2. Jules, are we going to blame the 2 goals just on Dorgu and Onana?
I mean, the first one, I think Onana is, for me, more fault than Dorgu, simply in the sense that Onana doesn't have to come and get the ball. Dorgu has it covered. He's ahead of Hutchinson behind him, I think it is. He's on the ball. Onana doesn't have, he can stay on his line, open an angle for a pass, and then start the build-up phase after that. He doesn't need to come out. So for me, sold on Onana, the first one. United not very good. They scored on set pieces, which they have one of the best taker of set pieces in Bruno. So good for them. But from the rest, it was not very good from them, and it was not very good from Ipswich either.
Dorgu's red card also not good.
Terrible, man. That's bad.
One thing I would say is Dorgu should look up and see where Onana is.
No, true.
I mean, you're running in a straight
there's
line.
No communication either.
Not good.
More job cuts at Manchester United, Gab.
Yeah. So this is another 150 to 200 job cuts. And these come on the back of all the job cuts before, which I think have been close to 300 at this stage. This is on top of that. Omar Barada, to give credit, right? I want people to come out and explain things. He did speak about this. He said it was necessary. They've lost 300 million roughly in the last 3 years. It's hard to now, obviously, I remind you, it's also because, they're paying 19 million a year in interest payments for no apparent reason, other than the fact that the people who bought the club decided to then put the debt on the club. That's another issue. Yeah. They have I'm all for the cutbacks if it's necessary and if you think it's not going to impact things. From a comms perspective, this is terrible. Yeah. Barada sends an email saying no more leaking inside stuff from inside the club. Otherwise
you get sacked. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happens? That email gets leaked immediately. Even the fact that they're cutting back in the canteens and stuff. Again, you need to make savings, but you look silly. Now, apparently all you get at Old Trafford is free fruit. It's not a good look. And I genuinely wonder how much are they actually making in savings with these things, and it's always sad people lose their job. They had, more than 1,000 staff when this started. Yeah. Which is more than anybody else.
By far, by the way.
But then you look at the numbers now with the people who have left. Now they're below clubs like Arsenal and Liverpool, right? And this is who you're competing with. Yeah. Arguably even more because you keep telling us you're the world's biggest club, the biggest brand, the biggest this, the biggest that. So I don't know. I mean, this is not a great look. And I don't know. Sometimes when people come in and make cuts and so on, and they're saving a bit of money, they do it to show that they're working hard. I'm like, who are you showing? Are you showing the Glazers, who ultimately are the people who own the club and who control the money? You're not showing that guy in Monaco anything, right? Because Mr. Ineos, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, it is. Jules, it's not just the rank and file at United. Christopher Vivel's job as technical director. You'll remember Vivel made his name at part of the Red Bull group, then went to Chelsea, then quickly left Chelsea. Yeah. Anyway, he's been interim technical director at Manchester United. Yeah. Now his job has been made permanent, but reportedly he's taking a pay cut.
Yeah, which I guess is not surprising in the sense that you can't try to make cuts everywhere and not do it to people that you employ in those kind of positions. So I can really understand it. Really interesting to see how he does in the job. Not that we've seen it yet because nothing happened really, or not too much in January. So I think it's a massive summer for Vivel, Berrada, Wilcox, and all the people in charge, really.
Yeah, and by the way, the people in charge, I would like them all to take pay cuts because they're the people who signed Dan Ashworth and then decided they didn't like him and said, I'm on gardening leave, and that cost them $4 million. For me, I know the Ten Hag thing was much bigger, extending him and his payoff and whatever, but they kind of inherited that, and that was also screw up. Yeah. But Ashworth, this is all you.
Yeah, definitely.
Jules, let's go back to one of your favorite subjects. Oh. Erik Ten Hag. He went on a podcast called SCG Stories, which, funny enough, is produced by the agency who represents him. Oh. And the one where his son works.
Of course, Nigel.
So you know that they're going to ask all the tough questions. And they're going to ask him all the stuff the fans want to know about, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. And the main quote, to be fair, that we took out of this pretty boring podcast, if you want to listen to it, if you've got 2 hours to lose of your life.
And if you speak Dutch.
Exactly. He said that the current generation of players, so like the younger generation, has a hard time dealing with criticism. And I think it's fair to say, and as we're not big fans of Erik Ten Hag here, that there was not much communication between him, or certainly they just didn't get on. Him and the younger generation. Remember the Sancho clash, which is the biggest clash, but he clashed with a lot of other players of that kind of age group. And I'm not surprised that he thinks that the problem was not so much him, because that's clearly what he said. He said the problem was not him; it was the younger players who can't take criticism, which, again, I don't think is true and fair.
He also clashed with Cristiano Ronaldo, who
is not
is roughly his age. Yeah, I don't, look, I find the issue of criticism interesting because I remember none other than Jose Mourinho once told me directly. He said, you have to say different things to different players. And really dating myself and dating Mourinho, he said, if I shout at William Gallas and say, you're a fool, you cost us the game, William Gallas will get upset and sulk and he won't produce. If I shout at John Terry and say, you're a fool, you're a bad word, you stink, you're worthless, he's going to work even harder. So you have to know the personality of the person. I don't think it's a young player, old player thing. I think it's you being able to read your players. You think they asked them, hey, why did you coincidentally sign all these players from Holland or players who were our clients?
I don't think so. Do you think they asked him why he played Wout Weghorst as a number 10? Or even a number 8 in that Barcelona game? I don't know either.